In the repair shop today...
Come on, my son, come on, come on. Look at the red one, look, look.
An antique game gives David a run for his money.
It's like visual detective work.
Whilst Lucia looks for clues to save an unusual painting.
You sort of have to really concentrate on what the shape is and what she's actually painted.
First, furniture restorer Will Kirk has taken delivery of a table. This once handsome piece belongs to Alan and Alana Field from Kent.
Hello there.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome. Very nice to meet you both. This table is beautiful.
Yes, it's been in the family a very long time. I can remember it from late 70s, early 80s in my granddad's house. And yeah, I've just admired it ever since I was like a wee lad.
I have to say, I haven't seen a table like this before. I mean, it's got loads of different bits of wood inlay on the top.
It has, yeah. Actually, underneath it's got a piece of paper which tells you which pieces of wood it is.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like really old writing. I can't read it.
Almost looks like an old treasure map, doesn't it? That is really nice. Were you very close to your grandfather?
Yeah, both very close to my grandfather and also my dad.
Oh, so your dad.
My dad brought me and my brother up from an early age. But he would literally go to work at the weekends, so me and my brother had to go and stay with my granddad, or grandparents. So to look after us, we was living on this old farm with like 3 acres of ground. We had go-karts running around. We had cars we used to drive around on the farm. Yeah, it's a wonderful childhood. The bond between my dad and myself and my brother was fantastic. You know, we all bonded together. Yeah. Very, very close to each other. Yeah, and... yeah, it's sad to see him go.
How long ago did he pass away?
2008.
Really?
It was one of the last things his dad gave him, and before he passed away.
Really?
And it was one of the last bits that your granddad gave to your dad, so...
So did your dad know how much this table meant to you?
Yeah, it's like the link of the generations, isn't it?
We don't have many pieces of him, and we don't have even many photos, and it just represents something for us, and it represents it for the children as well, that, you know, there's a little bit of Granddad that still is
around.
in our home.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, my wife decided to put a fish tank on it.
A fish tank?
Just being a busy mum, I just, didn't think and grabbed whatever was to hand. And then it wasn't until the next day that we realised that the tank was leaking. And then by the time we'd taken it off the table, it was all lifting and the damage was already done. I was so upset. Just Alan's face when he took the tank off and he saw the damage that had been done, and he was so kind about it, but it was written on his face how upset he was that he had been damaged. I've felt terrible about it for the last 9 years.
9 years?
Yeah.
Why have you decided to have this restored now, then?
I had surgery on my back 10 years ago, and then 6 years ago it started to fail. And so I've been wheelchair-bound since. And Alan has been so incredibly supportive of me. He's just been my rock through the whole thing. And I'd like to just be able to give something back to him sometimes. Just see the joy that he'll have in it again. Yeah.
I know it's just a table, but it's much more than a table to me.
Yeah. I can see why this table means so much to you. I'm hoping I can restore it for you.
I have faith.
Thank you. Well, I'll see you very soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Just taking a look at Alan's table, I can imagine before the damage, it must have looked quite the piece. I have a feeling that one of my main challenges with this table is locating the missing veneer. There's loads of different types of wooden veneer around the outside here, with sort of fancy stringing inlay. There's a lovely kind of star shape here. My main focus is going to be fixing this top. So I'm going to separate the top from the base, and that'll give me better access to flattening down that veneer on the top and repatching it.
As Will tackles the table, yet more broken treasures are arriving. Ramzi Al-Nayazi has travelled to the barn in the hope that David Burville's experience with modelling and mechanics can help save his childhood keepsake.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing? So, Ramzi, what have we got in the box?
It's a horse racing game.
Okay.
There are quite a few bits and pieces in there. That's the track.
Okay.
And I'll show you the horses, just like a Grand National, really, but in a smaller scale.
Grand National.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. You turn this round,
Yeah.
that just vibrates and makes the horses move in that direction.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And they go fast. You know, the faster you turn the handle, the faster the horses go.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So, do you remember the first time that you saw this?
1954. When I was a kid, my uncle had a trip to London, and he saw this game and he thought he'll bring it to us.
Where was you living at the time?
We were in Baghdad.
Okay.
That's where we were born and brought up. And when he came back, he gave it to my older brother, Sammy, his name. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us.
Oh.
He's the one who operated it for us. The first day of Eid,
Yeah.
the whole family come to my mum's house. My brother sets it on the end of the dining table, and then we'll start putting our bets.
Put your bets on what horse?
And the screaming and shouting.
Did it get quite exciting?
Absolutely. I'm a family of 12. 6 boys and 6 girls. Yes.
Really?
Pushing each other out of the way. Come on now, what's that way? This would have been in the late 60s, I would say. I left Baghdad in 1975, and it was forgotten about, totally. Until 93, I went to Baghdad with my 2 kids, to my family, to see them and all. Then, all of a sudden, and I remembered the game, and I wanted my kids to see. So luckily, my brother, he just said, you can have it. Yeah.
So how did you feel when you got that? And
Oh, I immediately opened it up, of course, and I saw it, but it wasn't working. Even then, they just didn't move properly. The cloth was so old.
Yeah.
It's just gone with time, obviously, and being folded.
Right.
You see, it's metal there, and it's gone all rusty. Every Eid and Christmas, I get it out, I set it up, and they all say to me, Dad, no, it's not going to work. It will be amazing if it can work again.
Yes?
Yeah. And it's the only thing I have, really, that always reminds me of all of my family.
Yeah.
Shouting and screaming and cheering, which you miss so much, but at least this will bring back all that, the memory, and it means a lot, really. It means a lot.
I can't wait to see it
Oh,
working.
it's going to be incredible.
Thank you for bringing this in.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All the
Bye-bye.
best. Bye.
I've seen one of these before. Have you seen one of these?
No, never. Never seen one of these before. I'm really intrigued.
Yeah, it's a good game, this is.
It looks like a fantastic thing. It is such a simple mechanism. So just turning the crank moves the cloth in such a way that the horse moves one way slowly, but then the cloth goes back fast. Whoever thought this up was genius. The little horses, they've got chipped probably through bashing into each other with racing and all the fun that was had with it. So I've got to repaint those. The worst thing, I think, is the cloth. It's got little wooden pegs which are actually held in place through the cloth with literally like drawing pins. And over the time, this has rusted, and this has caused the cloth to actually deteriorate. Now, cloth is not my department, so I think the first thing that I've got to do is just remove this from the actual box, which is as simple as that, and then I'm going to get this over to Sarah and see what she says.
Will is launching his plan of attack for the water-damaged, intricately veneered surface of the table.
There are a few lumpy areas underneath the veneer, and I thought that was tiny bits of wood trapped underneath. But actually, I think that the water from the fish tank has softened the original glue, and as it's dried into different lumps. What I might try and do is use an iron to slowly heat up the glue. And if I can do that, I can not just flatten it out, but also stick some of that veneer back down onto the surface. So it's on a medium heat. I'm just going to start working it over the area. So I think you can tell by my shirt, I don't really do much ironing. But seems like that little hack is working because this feels really nice and flat. I'm going to do the same process with the rest of the surface now. Look at that, nice and smooth. At the moment, the top is looking really dull, so I need to lightly sand this back to reveal the true colour of the wood, which will help me when it comes to veneer matching. At the moment, the top looks really pale, and it doesn't look very attractive. But as soon as I go over this with this really thin coat of polish, you'll see a huge transformation. This looks absolutely gorgeous. All these exotic woods now starting to show their true colours. I'm going to carry on polishing the rest of this tabletop, and once I have, I can then go on the hunt for my new veneer patches. I've had a look on the back, and I believe that this table was made in the late 1800s. I found this word bua bua on the inside, and that tree is native to New Zealand. It's been really hard to find any veneer or wood to replace those missing sections. So instead, I've had to raid my veneer stash that I've been collecting over many years. You can never have enough veneer, but out of all those bits of veneer, I've only been able to find one possible suitable piece to patch this tabletop. The only downside is it doesn't actually have that wonderful figure in the grain of the wood. So I'm going to use some pigment and some polish to recreate that same delicate grain in the bua bua. I'm almost having to hold my breath whilst painting this. No line is exactly the same length or width. So if I paint these on perfectly, they might then stand out. Well, that's my first piece of wood graining done. I'm going to cut out a tiny square and see how it looks. It's quite good, actually. Once that's all filled in and the star's complete again, I think it's going to look really smart. I just need to carry on with the painstaking method of painting that grain back in, but it's going to be all worthwhile.
Art restorer Lucia Scalisi is considering her next assignment.
A lot of detail, Jay.
There is a lot going on, isn't there?
From my work point of view, I've really got a lot to do on this one. Crikey.
Sue Saunders from East Sussex is counting on Lucia to save her disintegrating painting and the memories it holds.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
Fine, thank you. And yourself?
I'm very good.
Good.
Hello, hi.
Hi.
Now, this is a really busy painting. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this.
Yeah.
Where's it from?
My grandmother, Emily Chris, painted it, and I inherited it when she died.
Fabulous. The attention to detail, I think, is remarkable.
Unbelievable. I haven't stopped looking at it.
It was all in her imagination.
So this is an imaginary
It's
place?
an imaginary, yes. Some of the shops she's named after her sisters, and so Purdy and Pitt here, as her sister and niece, and things like that, which gives a nice family feel to it.
What a lovely thing to
It is
have.
lovely. Did she learn to paint? Did she go to college or anything like that?
No. Her whole family were very, very artistic.
She'd done a lot of painting?
Yes, she used to exhibit her art on Hammersmith Bridge, where everybody used to go, probably at end of 40s, early 50s.
Really?
And she was persuaded by a friend to exhibit 3 of her paintings in a school fete.
Right.
And she went there, and Twiggy...
What, the model, Twiggy?
Yeah, and her agent, Justin de Villeneuve, went there, and he bought all 3. And it just sort of catapulted from there. It went mad. And she sold them to various other celebrities. Elton John was one. She had many of her paintings.
Oh, cool, blimey.
So, yes, we had some exhibitions at our house, and sitting around the table eating fish and chips with Twiggy and Elton was quite surreal.
That's really cool, man.
It was a bit starstruck.
Yeah.
You know, as you would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her dining room table was always strewn with newspaper and paints. We had to clear it off for dinner.
Yeah.
And she used to have a big easel up in the bay window. Yeah.
And what was she like?
She's lovely, very loving and kind. I never heard her raise her voice. She used to draw and illustrate books for my brother and I, to keep us entertained.
Okay.
And she had time. I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
She had a lot of time for us as children, and that was lovely. She's very dear to my heart.
Yeah.
And I still miss her very much. And so these little bits flaking off just... It feels like she's disappearing. Little bits of her are just fading away, and I really don't want that to happen. It's mostly at the bottom of the painting, but there are some little areas I've noticed towards the top.
So all that damage that's down there, do you want Lucia to paint it or just, like, stop it from peeling off some more?
I'd love her to replace it if she was able to.
I might have to have a bit of artistic licence, given that we don't know exactly what
was there.
On the larger areas where things are definitely missing.
Anything that could be done to just preserve it and stop it from getting any worse would be ideal. A lot of love in there.
Yeah, a lot of love. Thank you for bringing us in.
It's going to be a challenge, but honestly, it's going to be a delight working on it and seeing all this. It's just going to keep telling me stories all the way through.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
All right, you take care now.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's got a lot of problems, and it's such a shame because a lot of work has gone into creating this. Masses of flaking, so a lot of this paint is ready to come off the surface. The reason this is happening is it's painted on a piece of hardboard which has been tempered. It's had an oil-based preparation to make it waterproof, and I think she's used a water-based ground layer, and it's just not adhered, it's just gone. And funnily enough, it is papered in at the back, but it's already flipped out of the frame. The frame's not really adequate. There's not enough support for this piece of hardboard, so there's movement in the frame. So I'm going to have to treat all the flaking paint, and then I should be able to take it out of the frame and decide what I'm going to do with the losses. We'll see. I'll deal with that later. First things first, consolidation, and the sooner it's done, the better.
The overhaul of the horse racing game is off the starting line, with David priming the metal horses and fabric aficionado Sara Dennis attending to the track's potholes.
David's just brought over this horse game for me to have a look at. And what's happened is these holes, they're actually where the game has been stored up against the thumbtacks, and they've rusted through this cotton. So we have to replace these little holes because the horses don't get a nice even gallop. I can't sew this because if I stitch into it, I will automatically make a rough area. So I will cut out the nice even circle and then create the same size circle plug with a sort of plasticized cotton, and hopefully that will create a nice smooth finish and the horses won't fall at the first hurdle. Having said all that, punching a hole in Ramzi's game is scaring the pants off me, if I'm honest. But I'm going to go for it. Yes! Absolutely superb. I'm so relieved that worked. Off to do 35 more now.
Started touching in colours on the little horses, and they're actually starting to come up quite nice. It's quite tricky matching colours. This grassy green is always difficult, but you can see here with a little bit of yellow, that's starting to look a lot more like it. I think I'm going to leave them to dry, touch them in with another coat, and then they'll be ready for lacquering.
I've cut a large circle for the back and a small circle for the front, which I'm going to place in there. And look at that, really lovely colour match. So I'm going to glue each of these patches in place. I have finished.
Wow.
Do you want to have a look? So,
Thank you.
have a look at that.
Cool, yeah.
Think it'll work?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's lovely and smooth, isn't it?
Yeah, it's come out quite well, hasn't it?
Oh, that looks fantastic. Thank you so much.
Great. Well, happy horse
Wonderful.
racing.
Thank you. The next step is to put back all of the little wooden pillars. I think the purpose of these is to actually stop some of the horses as they're travelling along and knock them out of the race. So I'm just going to use a gel glue to just fix them in place, and then I'm going to put them back with brass pins. So those are glued on nicely. So I'm going to turn that over now and then start finding those pinholes.
With David's restoration racing onwards, Will has also made great strides, completing the ornately patterned tabletop.
Well, I'm putting the finishing touches to the top of this table, and my word, does it look good. I'm using a polishing pad to seal in all of my work and to protect the tabletop, but it also really brings out those lovely different colours in the different types of wood there. You can pretty much see the reflection of my fingers there. Time to get this top back in its base.
This table was passed down 3 generations before it nearly met a watery end. But for Alan, it remains a steadfast reminder of his beloved grandfather.
Here they come. Hello there.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Very well, thank you. Yourselves?
Good, I'm good.
It's nice to have you back.
It's good to be back.
So how you both feeling?
Really nervous.
Yeah.
Nervous?
Yeah.
And excited.
So when was the last time you saw this looking great?
Probably about 10 years ago. Yeah, then it was put behind the sofa.
Yeah.
All right. It's not going to go behind the sofa now, is it? If,
No,
if it
no,
looks tip-top, it's not going behind the sofa, is it?
No, it's going on display. It's being
With
enjoyed.
No fish tank?
No fish tanks in sight.
Okay.
No more fish tanks.
Thank you. You ready?
I am. Shall we have a look?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Oh, my word.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That's amazing. How did you do that?
Mate, that is amazing. Oh, mate, I'm welling up. Oh, mate. That's awesome. That's better than
wow.
tip-top.
Oh, you got it perfect.
I've never seen it like that. Can't believe how well that looks.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Just feels lovely to the touch. It's lovely to look at.
Yeah.
No, I can't stop looking at it.
I
just
know.
can't. What can I say? Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Where is this table going to go and what are you going to put on the top of it?
It's going to go in the front room, private place, so everyone can see it when they walk in. I think on top of it should go a picture of my dad and my granddad, prove where it's come from.
Yeah. It's been a real pleasure meeting you two.
And
Okay?
you guys.
And you guys, thank you.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure.
Take care now.
Thank
you very
you.
much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Look at that.
Good man. That's good, isn't it?
Out in the sunshine, that table looks lovely.
It looks lovely in here. What are you talking about? Well done, man. Well done.
When that blanket come off the table, it just took me back to happy times in my childhood, sitting with my grandfather on his chair and the tables in the corner. So it just took me back to all those like happy faces. It's beyond my dreams that the table looks that good.
Lucia is stabilising the flaking paint of the complex Emily Crisp painting.
So what I've done, I've used a special paper that is a natural fibre with a special adhesive, which is called a heat seal adhesive, because that was the only thing that was going to work with this painting that is so damaged. So I painted it on, and the plan is that it sticks the flaking paint back onto the board. It needs heat to activate it. You can see where it's gone more transparent. That means that the adhesive is activated. It's actually working really well. I am now going to remove this tissue, and already you start seeing the translucency. The solvent just sort of loosens the tissue paper from the surface. This is very satisfying. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's like Christmas every day. It really is. It's so satisfying, actually.
Lucia's asked me to make a frame for that beautiful painting she's working on. I've chosen some lovely pieces of oak to make a big, strong frame. Lovely. 2 joints down, 2 more to go.
I mean, it's absolutely beautiful how she's painted this. That's great. I was just checking to make sure all the bits of adhesive that I used earlier, little bobbles, I've taken all that off. Now is the exciting bit, the first coat of varnish. So I'm going to remove the frame. And the varnish I'm going to use also has some properties in it that I'm hoping will help keep the paint consolidated. So I'm going to start in the middle, paint outwards. It's got a lot of work to do. You know, it's saturating the surface. You can also see how the colours are changing. I've started the retouching, and it's quite a forgiving painting because it's so busy, which is great. I've got several greens mixed up, several blues, and I'm knocking out the big gaps in the painting. Then I'll start putting some of the descriptive brushstrokes on. I mean, you can see this barge is really very broken up, and I'm just painting some of the coloured grass along its edges. The grass actually merges into the canal. But if I just follow obvious lines, it can actually start pulling it together. It's like visual detective work. Oh, I see now. But I can see there's some sort of cross lines on this. It's the window. Do you know what? I'm going to put some red in there. There are literally hundreds of people in this painting. No two are the same. All different colours, different shapes, different hairstyles. It's like different parts of somebody's life in every section of the painting, from weddings and schools and flower shows and art shows. It's just fascinating. This area that I'm working on now is the centre of the painting. And I've done the base coats for the road area, a wall area, and I'm now going to concentrate on the details of the cars. And I can see the black lines on the outline, but I can actually start putting some structure into these vehicles. It's thrilling. Tiny little elements that remain as islands of paint have ended up being able to guide me into doing some reconstruction. It's quite simple, but it's also quite complex. It's marvellous. It's a fascinating learning curve for me, this, and it's a wonderful opportunity to study something like this. I've got quite a lot to do. Once that's all finished, I'll be ready for spraying, and then we'll be ready for fitting it in its new frame, which I'm very excited to see.
For the first time in 50-odd years, David has the little horses lining up under starter's orders.
This is quite a moment, really. We'll put him in the middle. Right, moment of truth. And we got a winner. Seeing it in action, I can't believe how simple it is and yet how effective it works. I can't wait for Ramzi to see that. I'm going to get it set up on the bench, and then we get all the horses, and maybe we'll bet a few cups of tea on it. That'd be brilliant.
This game was one of the highlights of the Eid celebrations during Ramzi's childhood in Iraq.
I'm really excited to see this work. My money's on the red one.
You reckon? I'm going to go green.
You're going green?
Yeah.
There he is. How you doing?
Hello.
You all
Hiya. All right, Jay?
How you feeling?
Very nervous, very anxious.
I'm super excited because he's kept it away from me because he knows I like the horses. So have you been thinking about it?
Yes. Oh, definitely. Yeah. I've been phoning all of my families and telling them, you remember the game? Yeah. I said, well, it's getting repaired. So.
What's the dream for you?
Just to see it working, you know. as it did. I remember it when I was younger. There's going to be a lot of memory coming along with it. So, yeah, it's really looking forward to seeing it. Oh, my goodness.
I suppose we better do the honours.
Go on, do the honours.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, gee, look at that. David, how did you manage to do that?
Well, I had quite a lot of help from Sarah, and she did a lovely job on the actual mat.
Oh, my goodness. They are so nice and clean and bright.
So they've not been completely repainted, they've only just been touched in. So it's all the original colours and the original paint.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're as near to as what you remember as possible.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to let you have a go, but first of all, my money's on the red.
I'm going to go for the green, yeah.
And what are you going to go for?
I'll go for the white.
OK. Do us the honours.
Where's your money?
Come on, my son. Come on, come on. Look at the red one. Look, look. Nice.
Oh, the brown's going through. Oh,
Come on.
they're over the first hurdle.
You all lost.
Oh, no.
Oh, come on. Look, he's fixed
He's
it.
going backwards.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Your money.
No, we've got it.
I never thought I'd see it run like this.
Yeah?
Oh, I'm speechless. I don't know what to say to you guys, but it's back to life, really.
Does it bring back those family occasions, you know, like when everybody gathered around?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I can see all my brothers and sisters around it, with my older brother there playing the game, and the shouting and the screaming. Absolutely, yeah, it's all there. It's all there.
It's time to take it home now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey?
Yeah.
OK.
I hope your grandchildren and your children enjoy it as much as you did when you was that age.
Believe me, they will. Honestly, guys, thank you very much. You brought back a huge memory to me.
Will you
Thanks
take
very
care now?
much. Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That took me back about 50 years ago, if not more. The excitement and the memory coming back, it was brilliant. I'm looking forward to taking it back home, setting it all up, and play along with my kids around and my wife, and that would be brilliant.
Lucia,
Hey, hi, Dom.
here's the frame. It's finished.
Fantastic. I'm very excited to see this.
Perfect, OK. Let's hope it fits.
It will. I know it will. Oh, look, how beautiful is that?
The painting's in there. It fits actually quite nicely. I'm really pleased.
Really good. And this
Brilliant.
is what's going to give the whole thing strength, which it didn't have before.
We can get it screwed in. How's it been working on it?
Do you know what? It started off as I was very nervous because I wasn't quite sure how much I'd be able to do to it, but it actually worked out really well, which was fantastic.
It's in.
Fantastic.
Should we have a look?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it feels nice and solid, doesn't it?
It really does. I mean, that is fantastic, Dom.
Lovely.
Absolutely. Fab, fab, fab.
This extraordinary, intricate townscape was vanishing from sight, and with it, precious memories. Its owner, Sue, is hoping Lucia's skills have managed to restore her beloved grandmother's work.
Hello.
Hi, you OK?
Hi, Sue.
Yes, thank you.
Good to see you. I'm Dom.
Lovely to see you.
Thank you. And you?
How are you feeling?
A bit nervous. It was in a bad state of repair.
It's been a challenge, but absolutely thrilling, and I fell in love with it, honestly.
Thank you.
Come on, Lucia.
You ready?
Ready?
Oh. I'm astounded. But you had nothing to go on. You... Oh, it's absolutely amazing. I can't believe you've managed to repair it so brilliantly. And the frame brings out all the colours and...
Dom did the frame. He built the frame.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
It's absolutely amazing. It's just beautiful. I don't know where Nan stops and Lucia starts. Thank you so much.
I think you've got generations of happiness and interest in this painting, and hopefully it will last now. And but honestly, it's been, from my initial response to it was,
oh my God,
what am I going to do with this?
This is Nan. This is Nan. It's how I remember her, and yeah.
She's back.
She's back. Oh, I'm so grateful. It's absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much.
Well, we will give you a hand out with it if you wouldn't mind getting the door for us.
No, that's lovely. Thank you very much.
Brilliant.
Thank you
Grab
again.
the other end.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Got it?
OK, that's it. After you. Let's not drop it now.
The restoration is absolutely incredible. Just took me straight back to my nan's front room with her painting them. It's vibrant and colourful like she was. Yeah, it was just like having a big cuddle from her again.